In the vast tapestry of Norse mythology, few tales capture the raw confrontation between order and chaos as vividly as Thor's fishing expedition for Jörmungandr, the Midgard Serpent. This story draws primarily from the poetic Eddas who Veurr and elaborated in Snorri Sturluson's Prose Edda, portrays Thor not merely as a brute force warrior, but as a protector driven to face the ultimate embodiment of existential threat. In modern life, it speaks to our struggles with overwhelming forces, climate change, personal demons, or systemic crises that encircle the world and threaten to drag us under. It highlights the shadow side of heroism, the hubris of thinking one can conquer the unconquerable alone, and the integration that comes from acknowledging limits while still acting decisively. When integrated, such myths inspire proactive courage, tempered by wisdom urging us to hook the serpent of our fears rather than fleeing from them. The tale begins with the gods desiring a grand feast. Aegir, the sea giant, agrees to host, but demands a suitable cauldron for brewing ale to serve all of the Aesir at once. Tyr, the one-handed god of justice, recalls his father, the frost giant Hymir, possesses an enormous cauldron deep in his hall beyond the Eliwaga rivers. Thor, ever eager for adventure to prove his might, volunteers to retrieve it. Accompanied by Tyr, they journey to Hymir's remote farmstead. Arriving at dusk, they find Hymir's hall shrouded in gloom. The giant's wife, a monstrous figure with 900 heads, greets them warily, while Hymir's mother, a crone with a golden heart, offers hospitality. Thor, with his insatiable appetite, devours 2 oxen, where others might manage one, emptying Hymir's larder and earning the giant's grudging respect mixed with irritation. Hymir, a fisherman, declares that if Thor wishes to prove useful, they must go fishing the next day. But first, bait is needed. At dawn, Hymir sends Thor to the pasture for suitable bait. Thor, impatient with ordinary hooks and worms, strides to the field and tears the head off Hymir's finest black ox with his bare hands. Hymir, seeing the mutilated beast, mutters darkly but says nothing more. They launch Hymir's sturdy boat into the icy sea, rowing far from shore until the land vanishes behind them. Hymir casts his line and soon hauls up 2 massive whales, one on each hook, boasting of his prowess. Thor, unimpressed, demands to row further out. I have not yet found water deep enough, he declares. Hymir warns that the depths hold terrors, but Thor rows on until they reach the very edge where the world meets the void. Thor then baits his mighty hook with the oxen head and casts it overboard. The line sinks into the abyss. Suddenly, the boat rocks violently. Jörmungandr, the colossal serpent coiled around Midgard, bites the bait. The hook sinks deeper into the serpent's jaws. Thor's eyes blaze with recognition. This is his ancient foe, the child of Loki, destined to slay him at Ragnarok. With tremendous strength, Thor hauls on the line. The serpent's thrashing sends waves crashing over the boat. Jörmungandr's head breaches the surface, eyes like burning coals, scales glistening like oil-slicked iron, jaws gaping wide enough to swallow the world. Thor braces his feet against the boat's ribs and pulls with all his godly might, drawing the monster closer. In a surge of fury, he raises Mjolnir high and strikes the serpent's skull with a blow that echoes across the seas. The impact shudders the heavens. A terrible shriek rises from the deep as poisons spray and the waters churn black. Hymir, pale with terror, sees doom approaching. Fearing the serpent's wrath, or perhaps Thor's unchecked power, he seizes his knife and slashes the fishing line. Jörmungandr slips back into the depths, wounded but alive, coiling once more around the world's foundations. Thor, enraged, turns on Hymir. You coward! You severed the line and let my foe escape. But Hymir, trembling, steers the boat to shore in silence. They beach the vessel, and Thor effortlessly shoulders the boat, the two whales, and the oars, carrying them inland like toys, demonstrating his strength. Back at Hymir's hall, the giant challenges Thor to break his unbreakable goblet as a final test. Thor hurls it against the stone walls, pillars, and mountains, all to no avail. On the crone's sly advice, he flings it against Hymir's own forehead. The goblet shatters, revealing its magic depended on the giant's skull. Hymir, defeated, allows him to take the cauldron. As they depart, Hymir summons an army of multi-headed giants, but Thor slays them all with Mjolnir's thunderous swings. Tyr drags the cauldron and returns to Aegir's halls, where the gods brew and feast in triumph. Yet, the victory is bittersweet. Jörmungandr survives, and the prophecy looms. At Ragnarok, Thor will slay the serpent, but perish with its venom 9 steps later. The fishing trip foreshadows this mutual destruction, a reminder that even gods cannot fully vanquish chaos without cost. In modern life, this myth holds profound importance. Jörmungandr represents the encircling shadow, the systemic threats, repressed fears, or environmental perils that surround and sustain our world yet threaten to overwhelm it. Thor's impulsive quest embodies the hero's drive to confront danger head-on, a trait vital in facing crises like ecological collapse or personal trauma. Yet the shadow side glares through. Thor's overconfidence and rage nearly capsizes the boat, mirroring how unchecked aggression or denial can exacerbate problems. Hymir's fear-driven cut of the line reflects avoidance, how societies or individuals sever engagement with overwhelming issues rather than facing them. When integrated, the myth teaches balanced action, courage to hook the serpent, wisdom to recognize limits, and resilience to carry on despite incomplete victory. In self-development, this parallels shadow work, confronting the monster within, anger, fear, destructiveness, without being consumed. Leaders who integrate this avoid hubris, acting decisively while heeding warnings. Environmentally, it urges us to fish for solutions to global threats, hook them with innovation and policy rather than pretend they do not exist. Ultimately, Thor's near victory inspires us, even if the serpent slips away. The strike leaves a mark, and the protector endures, wiser and armed for future battles. If you're enjoying these videos, then give them a like and subscribe for more. I'm currently creating the Norse archetype course. I've handpicked 6 Norse archetypes, gods and goddesses. We'll be looking at why these myths associated with these archetypes are relevant in modern life. We'll be looking at the shadow side, what signs to recognize so that we can change and evolve. And we'll be looking at the integration, how we can change and integrate that new story within ourselves. There are 3 pieces of work that you can do over the 2 weeks between the classes. Level 1 is a Stoic practice involving meditation and visualization. Level 2 is the bridge between level 1 and 3. Level 3 is a left-hand path ritual for those seeking those deeper dives into their psyche. If this interests you, then hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date for when I launch. If you're looking for something stoic, then I have the 7-day challenges. And if you're looking to broaden your knowledge, I have 2 ebooks, The Art of Creating New Habits and The Process of Meditation and Shadow Work. I also have one-to-one sessions for those seeking a deep transformation. If this sounds good to you, then check out my Patreon. The link is in the description.